everybody's comfortable being underground, okay? Right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody with that back row, if y'all wanna stand up, you can. I know it's kinda hard to see. Give you a little bit of history about this old mine.
Okay, listen now.
And,
No talking now.
it was in operation from 1890 to 1910. It was owned by the Phillips family. And that's the seam that they mined right there. It's about 28 inches high here. That's about as high as these cars. That is the soil seam of coal. You know, in West Virginia, they have what they call bituminous coal. Pennsylvania has anthracite. This is, the soil seam is a metallurgical coal. They use it to make steel with. And the reason why it's a very good steel making coal, it's got a high BTU, which means you know how hot it'll get. Low moisture, low ash, and low sulfur. And that's a good ingredient for making steel. Now, in 1958, the city of Beckley acquired this mines, and they started rehabbing in 1960. And what they did, they made it wider, shot the tops out, put permanent support in, put new track and timbers and wood. And 1962, they opened it up as tourist attraction. Been open ever since then. They have, last year, I think they had 51,000 people go through here.
Wow.
That's hard to believe, isn't it? 51,000. And, you know, we've had people from all over the world go this year, go through here. It kind of freaked me out, you know. I've had people from Germany, France, and Ireland, Switzerland, and you name it, and they come and go through this little coal mine. Occasionally, they would have to come in and they'd shoot about a foot of this top out because they call this a pony mine. And that's what they use to pull this coal out with. Some coal companies, the little coal companies like this one, would use goats and dogs, anything they could find to pull coal out with. You know what they got paid, the miners did in 1900 to load this ton of coal? 20 cents. And they had to load 10 tons a day. And they worked about 12 hours to do it. Now, y'all know how much heavy is a day, right? 20 cents a day and 10 tons, $2 a day. But they never really got that much money because these coal barons and the coal companies was always doing something to take all their money back. They would make coal, they would have coal camps. And to have a coal camp, you know, you would build houses, you would build churches and bars and restaurants and hotels, and then you would go to some port, usually New York, Baltimore, somewhere like that, and get you some coal miners. And usually they were immigrants from like Europe. Most of them was already coal miners. And they'd bring them down here into West Virginia, and once they got them here, they'd be like in bondage. And most of them didn't have any money, you know, they had a family. So they'd say, well, don't worry about money because we're going to advance you a pay. They called it script. Any of you ever seen script? It's a little old piece. You'll see it when you're wandering around. I think they got some in some of the houses and that over in the gift shop. Just little pieces of metal, have a company name and a dollar amount on it. And they said, you know, take all you want to get you a house, buy you tools, buy you food, and we'll just take it out of your payday. Sound like a credit card. But you know, the trouble is that once they got finished deducting all your pay and deducting your coal and all this, you always owed them more than they owed you. That's why you were always in bondage. You know, you could work 20 years and you would still not have any savings whatsoever. So it's kind of brutal. Some of the things they would do, they would put tags on these cars, let people know outside who mined a ton of coal. A lot of times, car got outside, there wouldn't be a tag, so nobody got paid. They hired a guy they called weight boss. He would hang a board up, and if the coal did not drag the board when it came outside, they would dock their pay, say that's not a ton of coal. They would also look around on this, and if there was so much as one rock on that ton of coal, they'd say, oh, there's rock on that car, so we're going to dock your pay. So you can see that 20 cents is getting lower and lower and lower. And that's just how it was. And now this right here, where this tag is on the block of wood, that's what they did. they started doing that and throwing it into the bottom of the car and covering it up with coal. So that solved that problem. Yeah, you got,
How much is 20 cents like in today's money? It's like back then.
huh, no idea. I've never been asked that question. Anybody have an idea?
Well, I mean,
I
you
don't
say
know.
1900, 20 cents could
1900.
buy a lot more then than it does today, but it's still not very much at all.
Not very much
you know.
money.
Also, it's like a big dragon call. They had like a rock on it. They were Dr. Pay.
They what?
So like they came out with like a rock on they called. They were Dr. Pay because
Yeah, because they couldn't, because if there was rock on the car, when it got outside, they had to pay somebody to get rid of the rock.
it's a scam.
So, yeah, it's kind of a scam, but, they did everything they could to get that 20 cents back. Everything you bought, you know, you had to buy at the company store. And of course, they're gonna charge you whatever they want to because you didn't have a new truck or in a car or anything. You was maybe 40 miles from the nearest town. And everything you bought, you had to buy at their company store. And they charged you whatever they wanted to. Now, another company store would take script from like this guy's mine, but they would only give you 2/3 to 3/4 of the value. So if you had a $1 piece of script, you're gonna get, what would that be, 66 to 75% is all they're gonna allow you. So, you know, everybody was getting a piece of the pie. Let me tell you a little bit about this little thing here. You know, we got these LED lights. These things will shine, man, 100 yards or better. They had something like this. This is called a tea kettle. And you put a little fluid in, it's got a flame or a little wick, and it's an open flame. And now you know, when you're mining coal, you got methane gas will come out of that coal. Methane gas is like natural gas. And it'll migrate to the top because it's lighter than air. Now these fire bosses, they go in and they checking for methane. And if there's less than 5% up here, it will ignite. And it'll burn a few seconds and go out. If there's 5 to 15% methane, when you put a open flame in it, you need a new fire boss because you just blew the guy up and you just blew the coal mines up. They said between 1900 and 1905, there was about 2,000 people killed in coal mines just during explosions. This came out in about 1910. They called this a carbide light. And it was a little two-piece in the bottom. You put calcium carbide, you put water in here. When we turn that dial, it drips water, and they call it a dripper. You put water in carbide, yeah, it makes acetylene gas. Y'all know what acetylene gas is, any of you? No?
They use
Y'all
it
should
for
be knowing
welding.
that in science now. It's very explosive, it's, you know, stinks too. But anyway, you would hold your hand over top of this, what they call a reflector here. Let me get over here around these little girls. I'm sorry, but I knew that was gonna happen. Yeah. You know, I should tell everybody that that's gonna do that, but I can't hardly bring myself to do it. Now, when I was a kid, yeah, we got
I was gonna ask a question about that. Do they still make those?
new ones. Probably. I know you can buy them over here in the gift shop. He's got a lot of them over there. Yeah.
Don't give Ryan one. Ryan.
Okay, we get the point.
No, not in this mine. Yeah. No, this mine doesn't have gas. It's 120 years old, so. But anyway, let me show you what it looks like with a carbide light. This is pretty cool. We used to play with these when I was a kid, you know. Summertime, we'd grab carbide lights and go dark at school.
Can you see what it's like without any
Settle
light?
down.
Now this thing would last about 4 hours.
You just turn it
On
off.
the belt.
And all the coal miners carry 2 of these. Why do you think they carry 2 of them?
8 hours in a
It's not
day.
enough light.
No, because this one's gonna go out. All right, guys. Yeah, you know, after 4 hours, that thing's gonna go out. Now, you can imagine trying to find water and carbide to get this thing lit again. But if you don't got one in your pocket, you just pull it out and light it, And then put this one, get carbide and water back in it and keep it for when that next one goes out. But that's why they did it.
Wow.
This thing was in use until 1950.
50s. They didn't have lights in 1950s? No.
Yes, right.
Well,
How much do they cost?
in the coal mine, that's what they used, was those things right there, up until the 1950s.
That's cool.
And, is it here? Yeah, this is what replaced them, is these batteries. And you know what I can't understand, you know, you had cars with batteries. Why didn't they come out with some kind of a battery for coal miners so that they wouldn't be blowing themselves up? I mean, you know what they used for light back in those days?
Candles?
Candles,
Uh,
lanterns,
torches.
torches. Yeah, anything that would burn, that's what they used. That is why so many people perished in the coal mines, because they had open flame and they had gas. So, you know, not a very good combination. Well, I don't know if that other crew is left over or not. I heard the motor
We
move.
heard something, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard him move, but,
Tell them about the,
Yeah.
maybe you're going to, but.
yeah. This right here, you know about this?
Nope.
No.
It's a cage.
It's a baby cage.
What kind of bird?
Parrot.
Canary in the coal mine. Everybody knows about that. It's a play one.
I'm so scared, bro.
Now these guys, you know, these old coal miners, they made these boxes like this. They have a place for water, food, a little swing, and they would get them a canary. Now where did they get canaries at?
The forest.
The forest. No, they took her cell phone and called Amazon. You believe that? Hey, that's no, there was a couple in here about a month ago, and their great-grandparents raised canaries. That's what they did for a living. And they would raise canaries and take them around to the company stores and sell them, and then the company stores would sell them to the miners. Now, the reason they used canaries, well, anyway, they would get a canary and put it down low, because that is where your CO2, carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide is at. And very dangerous gas. Now the reason they would use canaries, a very small bird with very small lungs. It did not take very much oxygen deficiency to make them go to sleep forever. And when they was like this, you know, on their back and their feet up in the air, that would give the coal miners ample time to evacuate. This saved a lot of lives. Now, do you have a question?
Yeah. What's that for?
Which thing? The telephone?
Yeah.
That's telephone.
Good coal people.
The communication. That's how you talk to outside and talk to, you know, different people. Nowadays, they've got what they call repeaters. Those would have those were hardwired. They'd have two little tiny wires that would go from that phone to the outside to all over the mines. But if a rock would fall and break the line, you didn't have any communication. But now with these repeaters, you've got actually like a cell phone, and you can call anybody. You can call the hospital or outside. Yeah.
Has someone ever burned their hand on that thing that you showed us?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll burn you. You gotta be careful with it, yeah.
So, what's that thing like right there? That like cup that has like a big huge
Which
long.
one?
This thing that has like a big huge long thing to it at the bottom.
It's hanging on the
That-
post over there. Oil.
That is this, some kind of a funnel, and I tell you, I have no idea what that was used for. No.
Coal.
I only worked 39 years, but I have no idea what that's for, but that is some type
Oil
of funnel.
field, something.
I have another question.
Are we the hurricane?
So
Are you
remember that
serious?
like water methane gas we shared? Was
Guys.
that water like burning hot?
What, this
Yeah,
one?
Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
They really said. Yo, was that the hurricane? The hurricane's in Florida.
This?
Yeah.
We're like 1,000
Yeah,
miles
you would,
away.
you would put something in here that would burn. Most of the time, I think they use kerosene, but I have heard that they even use bacon grease. You know, bacon grease will burn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got a little wick. The wick would, you know, suck up the fluid or the oil or whatever, and then that's how they how they would light it. Yeah,
How long did it take them like to dig this whole thing out?
well, it was here for 20 years,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
20 years.
Now, the city of Beckley, the part that we're gonna be in was for about 2 years. It took them about 2 years to do this. That's making it wider, shooting the top out, putting all this, additional support and stuff in it. But the original coal mine was here for 20 years. Now, you know, I told you about the carbide that they took in. This is what the miners would put their carbide in, to take it inside, is these little containers. And you know, if you get, if that carbide gets wet or damp, to begin with, it starts out looking like gravel. Like that right there. But after it gets a little bit wet, it turns into powder, looks like that right there.
It's cool.
Kinda weird. And this is a byproduct of coal. You guys, there's papers around that shows you how many products will come out of coal. There's about 200 different products.
Really?
Yeah, maybe grab you one and check it out. A lot of things comes out of coal. Makeup comes out of coal. Eye mascara, believe that?
What?
Yeah,
Coal.
comes out of coal. Yeah. I inspected a mine in Greenberg County, and twice a week they loaded tractor trailers. And one of them went to New York, and one of them went to Louisiana to Calgon plants. And it was carrying this particular coal, this Sul seam of coal. And it was going, I guess, whatever Calgon makes. I mean, I'm assuming some type of makeup. And they got 40 tons of coal every week. The New York plant and the Louisiana plant. All right, guys, I'm gonna take you around and show you a little bit more.
Oh, we have acne? What?
Why we have
Go over, bro. I can't.
Ladies, listen. When he talks, zip it. Okay? Boys, when he talks, zip it. Okay? You guys are competing. You can't do that. Just, that's rude.
Is this gorilla tag?
Oh! I can hear you too. You did. Ooh, I got ripped off.
I don't know if you guys like country music videos. Do you ever watch them? Yeah. Yeah, some of you. Y'all know who Brad Paisley is?
It's just a little
Look up one of his videos. It's called The Medicine Wheel. He made it right there.
Where?
See that little yellow
Oh.
sign up there? December, May the 4th. Yeah. Called The Medicine
Right there.
Wheel. You can YouTube it and you can say, hey, I was right there where he made that video.
Everybody. How are y'all big back here? Marvin, put your hood. You're gonna get wet.
Back it up.
This is where you filmed my music video? You went to a hill. Why is this open? Why is there brick walls? I'm in the thick oven. so bad over there? Holy crap. There's like a mannequin over there. Oh,
Is that scary?
Yeah.
That's scary.
All right, everybody, I'm gonna be talking over here. Everybody on the
I
back
can't see
rows over there, you can stand up if you like to.
oh, we got a pickaxe.
Remember
Over
what I
on the
said?
other side, those guys, that was called mining on the solid. 28 inches, they're laying down with a pick, digging that coal out of the solid coal and putting it in the car. Now over here, they did what they called undercutting. They would take a pick and they would dig the rock out from under the coal, about 3 foot deep. And of course, they're gonna put the rock over here. If they take it outside, they're gonna get penalized. They'll get the pay on it. After they do that, they take this drill, it's called a breast auger drill, and you're pushing on this end, and of course you're laying down on your hands and knees, and you're drilling up to about here, about 3 feet. And you'll drill 3 holes, one on either side and one in the middle. After you do that, you get black powder. Make you 3 little balls that'll fit in those holes. You put one in each hole. You take this tool here, it's called a tamping rod, and you push it all the way to the back. Then you take this tool, called a needle. You put that into the black powder. Now, you gotta block this hole out because when you shoot that black powder, it'll just blow out this hole. So you take some of that rock and mud, and you put in there, and you take this tamping rod, and you tamp it in there. And you keep doing that until you fill that hole completely full of material. You pull this out, you got a hole going back to your black powder. You take fuses, you put a fuse in each one, and tie it to one fuse, take it around the corner. Now before you light the fuse, you gotta holler something as loud as you can. Everybody knows what that is, don't you?
Fire in the hole!
There it is, 3 times. Fire, fire, fire in the hole. Light it up. And you know, you shoot that coal down, grab your shovel, and you start loading the coal. You might get 2 or 3 cars of coal. After that, you got some timbers laying here. You'll saw them, put them under that rock, keep it from falling down on your head. Then you start all over again. You gotta do that 4 or 5 times a day to get your 10 tons of coal. Now, if you can't load 10 tons of coal, you could bring your teenage kids in to help you. Probably about y'all's age, yeah. Get you in there to help you load dad, help you load that 10 tons. And if you both of you couldn't load 10 tons of coal, the company would escort you off the property.
Escort you.
Yeah, like you're fired, get off my property. And that's what would happen. Now, if it got to where dad couldn't work, let's say he was sick or injured or died, you know how long mama and the kids had to get out of the house?
5 days.
3 days.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, some of them was 2 days. So, yeah, that was, the good ones would give you 3 days. Yeah.
Wait, so how does it determine how many days they're gonna get out? Like, what determines it?
There wasn't no determination, it was the coal company, whatever they said, you know, 2, 3 days. Now, you could stay, mama and the kids could stay in the house if they had about a 15 or 16-year-old boy that would go in and take over for dad. They could stay in the house. Now, over on the other side, we got 2 pieces of equipment. Got the orange piece made in 1963. That is a, they call it a coal scoop.
It's a big boy.
That's a big boy. It runs off a battery operated, a very good piece of equipment. There are thousands of those in West Virginia. The other one is a Jeffrey loading machine. Roscoe's running it. It was made in 1929 and it's electric. 1929 they had electricity in the coal mines. That thing, when you turn it on, it's got gathering arms that pull that coal to the middle. And in the middle of the machine is a conveyor chain. It's metal, runs in a circle. It'll take the coal back, put it in a shuttle car goes to a belt goes outside. So, you know, he'll load 4 or 5 tons in about a minute. Took this guy here 6 hours to load 5 tons. So you can see how production is starting to really ramp up. And you know, by now, they were paying these workers by the hour. They wasn't paying them by the ton. The union was prevalent in the state, so things were getting a little bit better, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And you know, these places where these guys hand loaded was about 8 foot wide. So, yeah, question.
Was there any way to like get more money in your pay?
Get more money.
Like in your pay, so like you say like get like a few cents. Like is there any way to get more?
Well, if you worked more, yeah. I guess if you went in and loaded 15 tons of gold a day, you could make more money.
Also, do the families live on the property near the line?
They most of them that lived on the property, they rented homes for the co-operator. And they shopped at the company store, and there was no place else to go. And you know, all this stuff that I've told you about, these tools that they're using, they had to buy all that at the company store. And the black powder, they had to buy that at the company store. That is why I told you that they were pretty much in bondage, because they were spending more than they made. And, you know,
It's kind of crazy.
yeah, it's kind of not a very pleasant job. Today's coal miners, I don't think, there's not any coal mines around Huntington, is there? Not that I know of. I was a state mine inspector, and that was one of our districts, but as far as I know, we never did go down there. There wasn't anything to go to. Anyway, I'm gonna take you down and show you a few more pieces of equipment, and
Miners today, they'll make pretty good money.
they make pretty good money, yeah. A lot more than I made, but, you know.
You still gotta go underground though.
Yeah, still gotta go underground and eat all that coal dust, yeah.
There are a few coal mines out in Wayne, like near Huntington, but
They're in Wayne, the surface mines though, right? Yeah. Yeah,
there's a few right there under.
oh, are there?
Yeah.
Okay. That, like I say, I'm from Oak Hill, so that's a little bit out of my district down there. All right, guys, take you down and show you some more quick.
He just lived for a mattress. Yeah, Ryan's on YouTube. That wasn't short. Ryan, I don't know. This is
Around the 19, yeah, y'all can stand up over there if you want. Around the 1930s, you know, the company named Goodman seen that undercutting was a good idea, so they made a cutting machine. That thing looks like a big old chainsaw. It's got an 8-foot horizontal bar, and they're gonna go in on the bottom, and they're cutting coal. They're not gonna cut rock. And they go from one side to the other, cutting that coal out, probably 5 or 6 inches high, and 20 foot wide now. They was doing it 8 foot, now they're at 20 foot. After that, a man goes in with a drill, drills 5 holes 8 foot deep across there. Next guy goes in as a shot fireman. He'll put up to 3 sticks of dynamite in each hole. That's 15 sticks of dynamite. Now when he hollers fire in a hole, you better get out of the way. 15 sticks of dynamite, that's a lot of dynamite. And they'll shoot that, yeah.
What powers those things?
Electricity.
Like where did they get it from?
When did they get them?
Like where did they get it from? Like in the caves.
These came around in the, that's probably in the 1930s, that one is, somewhere around that time. And like I say, they started getting electricity by then, and that's when coal started really booming. These little mines like this one, it was all manual, you know, pick and shovel. No electricity, no equipment.
That's a lot of work for some real pain.
Yeah. Well, now after Roscoe, he would come in, after they shoot this, he'd start loading that out with that loading machine. He might load 50 tons of coal out of there. He'd do that in 15 or 20 minutes. So, you know, he just did 5 guys' work in 15 or 20 minutes. After that, they gotta support it. So the way they would support this mine roof, they would put 2 timbers and put what's called a header across. And every 4 feet, that's what they would do, 2 timbers and a header. and not very efficient. Not very efficient, but that's what they did. That's the only thing that they had. A lot of people perished because of this, because like I say, that's not a very efficient way to support the mine roof. Around the 1940s, up until about 1960, they started using roof bolts. And that's what this is. And what they do, you take a piece of drill steel, put it in a drill pod, and that drill pod will spin real fast, hooked to a boom that raises up and down. If you drill 125 feet, you'd be standing up on the hill. You'd be back outside. That's how much rock is over our head. After you drill a hole, let's say 3 foot deep, you take this, which is called a, I don't know who is moving those lights around. Is that in you all's eyes down that way?
Oh, no.
Okay. You would take a roof bolt like this, 3 foot, and you would install that up in that and have it in this bolt machine. And when you spin it, this little end comes down. This is called a conventional or chuck bolt. And it spreads these little fingers apart, and they grab a hold of the rock, and this plate goes up against the top, and you tighten it up. And as you tighten it up, you know how a piece of plywood's got multiple pieces, layers of wood?
Yeah.
That squeeze together? That's what this would do. It squeezes the rock together. And that's what holds the wood up. And that is no good either, is it? I don't know who is messing with these lights. I am right now. All right, around 1970, they came out with this. It's called a glue bolt or resin bolt, and it does a real good job. And the way that thing works, you got DuPont created a 2-piece glue in a plastic sleeve. You install that up in the top, push it up with this bolt, and at some point, you're going to rupture that plastic sleeve on there. And you'll take it up to a few inches from the top, spin it 5 to 8 seconds, push it up and hold it for 5 to 8 seconds. And what you're doing, when you're spinning that, you're mixing those 2 parts of glue together, and it's making a real strong, like a polymer or a, real stout glue that's going into all your cracks and crevices in a mine roof. And every 4 feet, you install 4 of these roof bolts, 4 foot apart. And just like a header over top of your garage door, that holds a room and a house above it. That's what you've created a rock header, 4 foot thick, rib to rib, that holds all the rock above you. And these comes in multiple lengths up to about 12 foot long. So, you can create a 3 foot to a 12 foot header. Depends on how bad the top is. Yeah.
People still work down here?
What's what?
People still work down here?
In this mine?
Yeah.
No. No, they haven't worked here since 1910. But this is a very good, does a very good job. Have y'all seen any of these? Right there, there's 2 of them right there. They call these pie pans or pizza pans. And all they do is create more space. You install them with a roof bolt to hold more top up. That's all only purpose. Same way when you put them on the side, you'll see there is roof bolts on the side. You put this and it creates more area to hold that rock so that it doesn't fall out on the track and make those cars wreck. And then when that happens, y'all gotta get off of it and pick it up and put it back on track. So, nah, just kidding. Show you this guy right here. Well, there he is. Y'all like rats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet you wouldn't like it if one of them was running up your pant leg.
Wait, what? I'm fine with that.
Brian felt fine with that.
We liked our rats in the coal mines, and we'd usually keep our rats around, and we would feed them to keep them around, because they let you know things like if there's going to be a lot of roof is going to fall in where you're at, rats will leave. There's a lot of old coal mines in West Virginia that nobody knows where they're at. They're full of water. If you get very close to one, your rats will leave. They don't stick around. So they're almost like a first alert. Very good, and we love them, and we kept them. Unless you would go to sleep and you wake up and they're on your
They
shoulder.
sleep down here? Like, they sleep down here?
Not in this mine, it's gotta be an active coal mine. Because if you don't feed them, they're gonna leave. You know? But that's, all the coal miners, we'd always feed the rats. Well, most of us would. A lot of guys hated rats, they was like scared to death of them. But, most of the guys would keep them around and feed them. Let me show you a little bit about this old dinner bucket. This is a 4-piece. I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen these or not. Yeah, okay, you got the lid, you had the dessert pan. Old timers said that you'll take that home, your wife would bake you a pie in. It's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. You know, we, guys my age, we throw them away. Those pie pans. Now we would keep this because that's what you would carry your, you know, your sandwiches in. This was the most important part because this is what you carried your water in. You could put about half a gallon of water. And most coal companies did not furnish you with with drinking water. And, yeah, and prior to 1969, they didn't even have to. There was no law or anything said they had to. So, you know, that's why everybody carried something like this. And when you come into the mine, we would all stop at a, what we call a dinner hole. And of course, that's when we would give our rats a little bit of food and we'd have us a little snack and then we would go to work. You go to work, a couple hours, come back to get you a drink of water, right? And then you don't have no water. Somebody's done stole it. So you look around and find somebody else's bucket that's got a little bit of water. You know? But you know them old guys told you about them pie pans? You didn't drink their water. Because about every one of them had a set of those. Yeah. They're false teeth, and they would put them in that water. And they would say, you know, if you want a drink of water, you're welcome to it. And you could tell what they've had to eat for probably the last month. That would be chewing tobacco and pepperoni rolls and bologna sandwiches and all kinds of good stuff floating around in that water. Nobody stole their water. Now, when you left, you know, you would come in and eat a snack, go to work, and then you come back 4 hours later to eat your lunch. You better take your dinner bucket with you, or you better hang it up. Because if you left it on the ground, you know what happened? Rats. Yeah, that's right. The rats would come in and they could pull the tops off of these buckets. And then they would eat your lunch. Seen it many a time. That bucket is sitting on a kettle bottom. And y'all know what a kettle bottom is? No. Huh?
So what is this thing?
Kettle bottom. Petrified tree. That's what it is. Piece of petrified tree. That one right there probably weighs 200 pounds. That one up on the top, I don't know how much that one weighs. Probably 100 pounds or more. But they're very dangerous. They got a little thin seam of coal all the way around them, and they'll be in the mine roof. And where they're up in the mine roof, they'll have a little thin seam of coal. And that's 2 pieces of thin seams of coal together, and it's real slick, and they'll just fall out for no reason. And a lot of people call them widow makers, and they're very, very dangerous. A lot of people gotten killed with these kettle bottoms. I seen one down in Boone County. When I worked down there, it was 20 foot in diameter and 12 foot thick. That was a tree in West Virginia. And there was 1,000 foot, about 1,000 foot of rock over our head. So at one time, that tree was on top of the ground, 1,000 foot, yeah, down. And I don't know what kind of tree it is. I mean, I don't know any trees that grows 20 foot in diameter in West Virginia, but probably a sequoia or redwood or something like that. Well, any questions? Because I'm about finished. Nobody? Come on.
Ryan.
No questions. Yeah, there's one. Okay.
Do they still use those like the same thing?
What?
Like the same lunchbox?
Lunchbox? Probably a few guys might still carry them, but I kind of doubt it. Yes.
How'd the rats go that you were about to do?
I have no idea. How's that for an answer? Now this is what I've heard. You know, rats has got they've got little whiskers. And they say that, you know, when the top is moving around, getting ready to fall, they can feel the vibration. And same way with the water in an old mine, they can feel the vibration of that water moving around in their whiskers. Who's got it? Yeah.
So the rats ate people's food. Why did the people feed the rats?
To keep them around. Because they were your first lure.
They have their lunch.
Yeah, we would give them some of our lunch to keep them around, you know. And because they would warn you if the top was going to fall, if there was water around. Yeah.
Did a rat ever climb a balloon?
I couldn't hear you. If a rat what?
Did a rat ever climb a balloon?
Oh yeah, many times. Yeah. Yeah, if you take a little nap in the coal mines, a lot of times you'll wake up and there'll be a rat around you somewhere.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I don't hear rats.
Yeah.
So it's all like electricity. How do they
You've got a cable.
No.
Oh yeah.
4,160 volts, and it comes in from what they call distribution. And then that's the power. It steps in now to a voltage that you can actually work with. Yeah.
What happens if the power goes out? You don't have that little flame chip. What happens if the power goes out?
It's dark.
Or do they have like helmets in that?
Well, they have the light, but these are battery operated. Yeah. You trim them in here. Yeah. In here? No. Nobody's in here feeding them. So they don't come around. All right, I'm gonna take you out and around.
Okay.
Y'all ready? Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna go feed the they're gonna take a lead out there. I think that's that church.
Playground. Where are we right now?
One of those churches.
Where are we right now? The coal.
That's an old gold, bro.
We're back. Wait, what? You guys are gonna go here.
What if I invade that home?
What are they doing, chat? What are they doing over here? Oh, I can't see the sun.
Do the
Guys,
schoolboy 9
guys,
face.
Schoolboy 9, Schoolboy 9.
Do the schoolboy 9 face.
Wait, we're going again?
Another lap.
No, we're going backwards.
I said round 2.
Yo, chat up. What's it going backwards? Wait, skip the fire.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's how they have to turn it. They have to go backwards. That's the end of the video. Bye bye, guys.